does anyone else feel like the vibe is completely off in the world, worldwide, in life? There's just, I feel like this constant grey, mucky smog just coating everything in life and in the world right now. And I've been feeling this way for a while. And I feel like myself and my environment hasn't felt like normal since we came out of the last lockdown. Of course, for everyone, life completely changed forever. But I feel like a lot of us, or maybe even all of us, have come out of it physically and mentally damaged. I've been MIA from here for a while, and just life in general, to be honest, for a few weeks. Because I've just felt so unmotivated and just so like, what's the point? What's the point in anything in this world, in this life? And it's very normal to go through periods of times like that, but I'm finding it's becoming more frequent and more common. And whereas before, as I've mentioned before, I have depression. I've been on medication since I was like a teenager, on and off. So for me, it's not really that shocking to feel that way. But what's scaring me is I'm seeing a lot more people, and like regular people that not openly don't have depression or mental health or anything like that, admitting they feel the same way too and feeling the same way, which is super concerning for me. That the population, it seems like the population is depressed. Like, maybe they don't have the official diagnosis of depression, but definitely some symptoms. And I've definitely met more people that are on antidepressants as well, and openly on antidepressants, which I think is really good because that gets rid of the stigma. I used to be really embarrassed to tell people, but now I'm like, it's just, for me, it's like paracetamol. It's just normal. But the vibe is just completely off. It's like, how do you maintain hope in a hopeless world and society? And as pessimistic as that sounds, it's just how I feel, because it feels like all the rules we grew up on and the hopes and dreams are broken, and it's been shattered. The illusion's been shattered, and it's all a lie. And it doesn't matter how good a citizen you are, and it doesn't matter how hard you work in school at your job. You're either effed or you're not. If you come from money, you come from a well-connected family, yeah, you're going to be okay. But the rest of us, we're just stuck in the mud here. And especially regarding education, I really regret going to university. By the time I realised it was a scam and waste of time, it was too late. I was almost finishing my degree. My degree was a 5-year one, so it was quite long, which didn't help. And I graduated in 2024. So by the time I graduated, the world was already pretty effed, to be honest. I think if I had gone to uni maybe earlier and graduated pre-COVID, I would have been able to get my foot on the ladder a bit easier. But I was a mature student, so I didn't go to uni straight away at 18 because I had no idea what I wanted to do. I think I started, I was either 22 or 23. I only went to uni because of pressure, to be honest, because I remember in school it was so pushed. Oh, if you don't go to uni, you're a failure. The typical line teachers would pull out, oh, if you don't go to uni, you'll end up working at McDonald's. Which is not even true now, because I have a degree and I can't even get a job in McDonald's, so I was never going to be able to work there. And yeah, it was pushed as the be-all and end-all, and I wasn't genuinely interested in going, but I went because I had a lot of pressure from around me, and I was like, it's the thing to do. That's what everybody does. Everybody goes to uni, you work really hard, you get a good grade, and then you get a job. That didn't happen. I got a first with my degree, worked really hard, and I still can't even get like a retail job. I'm currently self-employed, but I call it self-employed unemployed because I'm lucky to make like 200 a month on a good month. Do not make a lot at all and cannot get any semblance of a job. So I've applied for corporate jobs, even though I'm really not keen, to be honest, working in corporate. My usual retail, customer service, which is where the bulk of my experience is. And yeah, absolutely nothing. So I'm like, how am I and we meant to maintain hope where I've done everything by the book, done everything right, and I'm still in the situation I am? And how I feel now, I just turned 30 recently, I feel like what's next? The way the world is so messed up, and honestly feels like it's ending with all these freaking wars and recession, and there's still illnesses going around like freaking hantavirus and Ebola and whatever. What do I have to look forward to? What do I have to look forward to? What do I have to work towards? Because my career is pretty much effed. I know that, because if you haven't already got experience under your belt, you're not going to be able to get it now. And unless I try and work in retail for the rest of my life, I feel like I'm pretty effed, to be honest. I'm not going to have children. I'm child-free by choice. So it's not even like I can be like, oh, my goal is to have a kid. That's not a goal for me. I'm very lucky I'm married already. That's all done. I'm very blessed to have housing. But it's kind of like, what? I literally don't know what to work towards and what to look forward to in the future. And that sounds really bad. Saying that out loud sounds really bad and really sad, but it literally, to me, it's not a big deal. It's just how I feel, because I'm like, all I see is economic uncertainty and war and suffering. Even if I'm not suffering myself, I really care about other people suffering, and it does affect me, which is why I try and just avoid the news when I can, because I take it on too much. But I really don't know. It doesn't feel like we have a future to look forward to. Like, I don't even know if my age group, will we even be able to retire? Is there going to be a state pension? Do they want us to just, like, I don't know if you, can you say die on YouTube? But die in service. I literally don't know what to look forward to, and I'm someone that I can't afford to like go on holidays because my income is so low. I can't afford to do like a nice abroad holidays. I sometimes, every couple of years, I do like a nice staycation in Wales or something with my dog and my husband, which is nice, but it's not even like I can have a nice holiday to recharge. I just feel like there's nothing to work towards, and there's nothing to look forward to, and they're just working us and beating us into the ground. And it's working, and that makes me really sad, because I've tried so hard to fight against it, but I just feel like I don't have any steam left in me to fight against it or care about things. And that's really concerning to me, that I've allowed myself, or well, not allowed, but I've got to that state. But again, it's not unusual. I'm hearing it so much around me. If I'm catching up with friends or family, I'm like, how is everything? It's just like, I'm tired, I'm exhausted from work, I hate myself because I don't have enough time to cook fresh and eat healthy and go to the gym and do all these million things we're expected to do while slaving away for 40 or more hours a week. And I say to people, we are not built for this. We are not built for modern life. We are not built for, I believe, the amount of access to technology we have. Technology is great, but we have too much access. Like, first thing you wake up in the morning, you're going on the news or you're going on social media, and it's just flooding your brain with this negativity and overstimulation. We are not built for 5-day-a-week working, I believe, especially when a lot of the jobs you could get your work done in a few days and the rest of the time you're just trying to look busy. They're literally the worst jobs ever. I had a job like that, torture. I'd rather be ran off my feet, to be honest, at work than trying to look busy and being bored. Yeah, we're not built for that. We're not built for the 9 to 5. We're not built for the lack of free time and time for expression and time for hobbies. Hobbies are a luxury in this day and age, and that makes me really sad and mad, because I feel like it's one of the only ways, having interests and hobbies outside of work. You can stop yourself going crazy from work, but how are you supposed to have time for hobbies when the tiny little bit of free time you get after working is spent catching up on laundry, food shopping, like life admin, which is not enjoyable and it's not restful. I don't blame people for not having hobbies, but it makes me sad when I see people blaming themselves and they're framing it as, oh, I don't know why I don't have time to all this, or I'm lazy. No, you're not. You are not built for this crazy capitalistic society hellhole that we're in right now. And I'm gonna sound a little bit like a tinfoil hat conspiracy theorist here, but it's what all these government and billionaires and just basically supervillains we have controlling the world want. They want us tired and beat down and compliant, because then we're just gonna mill away, work away, build their riches while we lose ours and lose our sanity and our sense of self and our love for life, basically. This is what they want. It's working as intended for them. And it just does get to the point. I'm getting to the point where I don't think I have the energy to fight back against this. Like, I'm almost accepting it, and I really don't want to do that because then they've won. But I'm having a lot more unmotivated and slump days than I am happy and motivated and, you know, better days. And it has a knock-on effect because I do have a lot of hobbies. I love creative stuff, crafting, artwork, writing, music, stuff like that, and I just don't even feel inspired to create art and things like that because I'm just drained from the world around me and struggling at sometimes to see the beauty in the world. And I need to see the beauty in the world to be inspired to make art, and I don't even want to do that right now. The main thing that keeps me going in these times is my social connections to my friends and my family. And I'm very lucky and privileged to have that because not everybody has that. But I feel like they are literally the only things I do look forward to and things stopping me from going completely insane. I'm at a crossroads in my life and I don't really know what to do to fix it because I feel like before it felt fixable. So when I got out of school and then college, because I didn't go to uni straight away, I had a period of unemployment. And then I was on, was it job seekers or whatever and stuff like that. So I'd go to the job centre. And back then you could do like little online courses. I remember there was a lot of like waitressing jobs. So I did like a free online course in like food hygiene and customer service, upskilled a bit. And then I was able to walk into a job from that. And then from there I went to uni, which obviously I believe then would lead to a better job. But what I'm saying is I feel back then there were pathways to get out of like hopelessness and low motivation because you knew you could do something and it would work. But now why I'm struggling so much to be motivated is I feel that the pathways are pointless. So the past couple of years I've been floating the idea of doing a master's, and again back then I feel like if you did a master's it would make a difference. It could help expand job opportunities for you. Now, a master's isn't going to do anything. It's just not. A master's is not going to improve the failing job market and AI taking over and outsourcing. It's just not going to help, especially if you don't have the experience already in that industry, because jobs just don't want to train people anymore. So I can't do a master's. Doing any sort of course, little upskilling course, that's not going to make a difference anymore. So it's like, what do you do? What are you actually going to be motivated to do? I'm not motivated to work on any specific skills because I'm like, I don't think it's going to change my situation. And that sounds really negative, but it's just from my experience. I know people much more experienced than me, people with PhDs, people that have extensive job history, and they're in the same situation as me. Which is concerning because then if I look at people like that are so accomplished and have done everything the right way and they're still coming up with roadblocks, then what on earth is someone like me who majority of my experience is retail and I have a degree that's pretty much irrelevant to the world now because of AI and all that crap? What am I supposed to think and feel, and how am I supposed to want to keep on being hopeful? And I'm not just talking about careers when I'm talking about the vibe being off in the world, because for me, a job is a job. A job is not my life. Yes, you need a job to have a roof over your head. I just mean in general, like, it's a knock-on effect. If you don't have, you know, a well-paying job or money behind you, you can't plan, like, nice holidays or have new experiences or even sometimes go out. Socializing is so expensive these days. Even grabbing a drink or going to a restaurant, money greatly limits what you can do. And with all we're seeing is the bills constantly rising, so even people that would have been well off a few years ago are feeling the pinch now. So with bills constantly rising, quality going down, so we're paying more for food that's getting smaller and crappier in quality. What am I trying to work towards or achieve or look forward to enjoying? It does have a knock-on effect. So I don't want to have my career to be my whole life, but I need a career in order to have a life. And then when you don't have that, and then on the flip side, even people that may have successful careers or well-paying jobs, they're still feeling like, I can't be bothered with all this because, like I've said again, they're spending most of their time at work. When they're off work, they're exhausted. They don't have time to rest or explore their interests. And it's like, what are we working for? Yes, we're working for bills and to have a roof over our head, which is basic rights, but they're pretty much luxuries these days. Once you do that and you've paid your bills, you paid your mortgage, done your grocery shopping, and whether you have nothing left after that or some stuff after that, then what? What are you going to do? Because you don't have the free time to go on holiday and go and do something fun, because you get, 30 days or less annual leave a year, I think, as standard, or was it 28 or something? So you only get 28 days a year, when you can actually try to enjoy yourself. I say try to enjoy yourself because it's hard to switch off straight away. If you do have time off, it actually takes time for you to chill out, and then by the time you've chilled out, you've got to go back to work. So even the people that are in better financial positions and may have their dream job are expressing being unhappy with their lives. And that's what I'm talking about. The whole vibe of the world is off, because it's affecting, I feel, everyone at every income level, apart from, I don't know about the mega rich, how it's affecting them, don't particularly care. But I'm talking about kind of the average person, the working class person, and even middle class person are really feeling the bad vibes. And it's not just with money, possessions, that sort of thing, just with moods. When I ask people, how are you? I like them to actually tell me how they are, not say, oh, I'm okay, how are you? Literally tell me how you are. I want to know how you really are. And with doing that, I'm just seeing a lot more of people saying, I'm not great, or I feel down, or I just want to sleep all the time. I don't care about anything. And that's really sad. It makes me feel so sad, especially when I can't do anything to fix that. That's becoming really common. I feel like you can even see on people's faces when they're out and about in public, just looking drained and down, and no one's smiling. And I don't blame them. I don't blame them at all. And definitely a lot less empathy. There's a lot less empathy, I feel, now in society. And again, I'm not surprised, because we're constantly being bombarded with bad news and really horrific things that have happened. And again, still being mentally affected from the lockdown and stuff like that. So I feel like it's gotten to the point where we're so mentally exhausted, our empathy's been spent, that people are just shut off. They're like zombies. They don't care. They don't care about anyone, maybe not even themselves. And they don't want to put energy into giving empathy because they don't have it. They literally don't have it. Some people are just assholes, yeah. But I feel like some people literally just don't have any empathy coins left in their jar. It's just all spent, because every day there's bombings and people being killed and horrible tragedies happening, and then the next day we just move on to the next. We become numb to it. I even feel that, when you hear in the news there's been a stabbing, I'm not like, oh my gosh, that's shocking. I'm like, that's just pretty regular, to be honest now. And it is concerning being that shut off from things. But I guess it's a natural human response to trauma, is to shut down, to try and protect yourself and protect your mental. Do also think it's had a knock-on effect to socializing and friend groups, and has contributed to the loneliness epidemic going on, because people are so spent from work, from the environment, from the news. They just don't have the ability to make effort with their friends anymore. So I'm not making an excuse for bad friends, because people like that annoy me, but I am noticing more people just not contacting their friends, not responding to them, not making effort with them, and they're like, it's because I'm so exhausted, and what's the point? And part of that could be as well because it is so expensive to socialise, and then the little bit of free time you have, you kind of need to catch up on stuff in your own life, so you may not just want to give the time or the energy to other people. And then also, if you are feeling really down and hopeless, what is there to talk about with your friends? You don't want to be a Debbie Downer and just always be like, oh, everything's crap. So I do feel that is definitely an effect of the world vibe being absolutely rank at the moment as well. It's really scary, at least for my generation I can speak, and I imagine it's probably similar for Gen Z. It feels like we have no guaranteed future. Whereas, boomers, they knew they would get the house, get the car, get married, maybe have kids, and then just work in their job that paid them enough to live the rest of their life and retire, go on cruise ships, whatever. I don't feel like my generation has that guarantee. I mean, most of us don't even have stable housing. A lot may not even have jobs or stable jobs. So how are we going to have time to be dating and marrying and then having children and even affording a car and affording retirement and then a cruise ship? I don't feel like our future is guaranteed. And then that also kind of makes us feel hopeless. And I wonder that's why we see a lot more kind of impulsive spending. I feel like it's kind of a conundrum where, you know, you cannot afford a house or whatever and you're low paid, so you're like, heck it, I'm gonna go on this really expensive holiday or buy a really expensive designer bag and put it on my credit card even if I can't afford it, because I've got to live for now. The future isn't guaranteed, and the way things are looking, the future seems like it's going to be pretty awful, miserable, so why not live it up now? And again, I 100% get that, and I feel like I've fallen into that bit of thinking as well, because I used to be quite a good saver. I would save a lot for the future, but I'm like, well, what is the future now? Especially with all these wars and global warming and AI going on, I might as well have a good time now while I can. It's hard to think in the long term with the world the way it is now. And oh my goodness, the amount of, I don't think you could say the pandemic word on here, but the amount of, let's say, mass illnesses that my generation and even Gen Z has lived through. Not even just mass illnesses, mass events. So we survived the 2008 financial crash. We would have been kids and teenagers then, but it would have affected us because it affected our families. We had a huge financial crash. We've had bird flu. I remember when I was in primary school, there was freaking bird flu. I was so scared of that. We've had COVID, which was just, and still is, absolutely awful. Ebola, which is coming back now. What the heck? Hantavirus, which is a new contender. And before, these would be things that cause mass panic. But now, I've seen like so many memes about hantavirus, because we can't even, and another recession, even though they're not saying we're going through a recession, we are. Another huge recession. And the whole AI of it all. AI apocalypse. We have been through so many mass events and traumatic events and mass illnesses that it's at the point now where we don't even care and we just joke about it. Oh yeah, monkeypox. Monkeypox was around as well, especially in London. That was doing the rounds. We just don't even care anymore. We're like, yeah, there'll be another huge illness that may off us, and you know, there's another recession and we're all gonna lose our money and stuff like that. But we're so used to it by now, it's not even shocking. And I don't think it'll be the last of it either. And then all these wars that keep getting started by Trump and affecting the petrol prices and the gas prices, it's just, it's like beating a dead horse at this point. We're not even going to react to it because we are so accustomed to the trauma and the hopelessness. I'm going to get off my soapbox for now and go through some tweets and Reddit posts. So nobody want to talk about why everybody has been tired lately, like very unmotivated too. TF, I don't know if you can swear on here, is going on. And it says some of the comments, most of us are surviving, not living. We're fatigued from the insane trauma and chaos that is being forced on us to prevent accountability. So there is definitely a mass exhaustion going on. It's just really strange. I'd say since December, since Christmas, I got really tired after Christmas because it is a busy seasoning. But that tiredness has not lifted. I've been tired all year. Like, I could happily probably sleep 14 hours a day if I was able to. I'm not even being dramatic. And then when I wake up, I'm just not refreshed. I'm not refreshed from my sleep at all. I just feel I've been feeling so tired this year. And this Reddit post, how the hell does anyone make it to 40 and not become bored with nearly everything in life? Work, boring. Pets, animals, boring. Kids, I don't have them, but assume they're boring. Sports, used to like them, boring as hell now. Working out, boring. Politics, used to like it, boring as hell now. Outdoor activities, traveling, social media, like it's just the same thing all the time for 40 years. It really gets uninteresting after a while. It's also tiring because it feels like constant lifestyle chasing to fill emptiness. I can't be the only one with these thoughts. Update, I went out for a walk because it's nice out, totally boring, and my sciatica was acting up. A lot of the comments on this post was saying you sound depressed, which I think could be valid, but I don't know if everybody feels this way, is depressed, because so many people are feeling this way. And I feel like saying it's depression is kind of simplifying it, especially when it is more of a result, I believe, of the environment we live in rather than our mental. So again, with these sort of things, I feel like the blame is put on us personally and our mental, saying, oh, you're depressed or you have this condition. But really, if our environment changed, we probably wouldn't feel that way. So is that depression, or is that a totally unsuitable, horrible, traumatic environment we're being forced to survive in? So this I can relate to as well. I definitely go through periods of time where even things that are fun I find boring. So like going out to eat or playing video games, which I love, it just all starts looking really grey and unmotivating. Really resonated with this one. Something just feels off about the entire world. I feel like the world is changing and it's affecting everything. The entire vibe around life and daily activities is just not right. And then this comment says, the world now revolves around getting money. No genuine connection. Everyone is moving around with a heavy heart, not art. Even the rich are not happy. That's such a spot on way to describe, the heavy heart. I really do feel that. Everyone moving around, even myself, with a heavy heart. Even when you have little glimmers and happy moments, the air just feels dense. The air feels dense. It doesn't feel fresh. Heavy is the perfect way to describe it. And like I have said, I don't feel like it's just me or my life. It does feel like a worldwide thing. It's not even just this country. It really is a worldwide collective thing we are going through together. And this kind of goes back to the whole COVID thing I was saying, that I feel, especially personally, things have shifted for me in my life and mentally after the lockdowns. COVID-19 might have been 6 years ago, but it took a toll on us. Nobody remained the same. Time feels faster, the energy feels off. People are colder and more detached. Careers paused, some lost their identity, some are still stuck. The world we knew never really came back. And maybe it is a bit of rose-tinted glasses or nostalgia kicking in, but I really do feel like personally my life was better pre-2020, especially because I've said before in previous videos, I was a student then. I was pretty poor, but I still lived quite a good life. I would go out to the cinema, I would go out to eat, and again, there was hope in the air. I really believed if I was a good citizen and I worked hard and studied hard, I would have a good life. But that illusion is shattered now. In a similar vein, I'm fully convinced that 2019 was the last normal year we ever had. Ever since then, it feels like everything's broken. Everyone is constantly anxious. Time moves too fast, and nothing actually feels real anymore. The world as we knew it is just gone. This, I was saying the other day, I'm like, how is it June already? How is it June? We're halfway through the year. It's going to be Christmas next. We're going to blink and it's going to be Christmas. And the world is moving fast, but it's not moving fast because we're having fun. It's moving fast because of stress and anxiety. Anyone else feeling increasingly burnt out? Do I just step away from the 9 to 5 and become homeless and free? Or do I double down on the 9 to 5 in hopes of enough savings to break free? Can't look at my phone anymore because it's just war, famine, crime, disease, collapse and corruption on repeat. Can't date anymore because frankly it's a nightmare and I don't have the emotional or financial capital to burn on it. Don't want to make friends because during a bad breakup where a friend group cheated with her, I lashed out in a very public forum. Taught me I'm better off just avoiding people because they usually end up being crappy and or I can make a mistake that costs me my career. My only escapes are nature, food, gym and alcohol. Alcohol makes me more depressed, so that's not a great avenue. It just feels like HR, bills and taxes all have guns pointed at my head while I try to carefully walk a tightrope. Does anyone else relate to it? And again, a lot of the comments were describing similar feelings and experiences to this poster. And last one here. Anyone over the age of 35 and just over life, I don't want anything anymore. I'm tired of fashion constantly changing. I'm tired of Instagram. I'm tired of travelling. I don't want my dream house anymore. I don't want any possessions. I don't want to socialise with people. Everything that I wanted at a point in time always feels like it gets old eventually. like a song you listen to and love at first, but then grow to hate after a few dozen times. Or buying that dream car that you wanted for years and saved for, but it becomes invisible to you after a few weeks. As someone who stayed childless and single, I thank myself every day for making this decision firm earlier in life, because with this strange sense of nihilism I'm experiencing now, I'm definitely glad I don't have these burdens all the more. I almost wonder if people reach a certain age and the only thing keeping them going is the responsibility of those things, basically being forced to continue to pretend you enjoy life for your family's sake. But if they never had those kids and spouse, they'd be glad they didn't. After a while, it all just feels like a burden you can never back out of. I don't feel, or even at all, that depressed really. Just don't find anything inspiring anymore at this age. And that's what I was talking about earlier. Yes, genuinely, some people feeling this way are probably going to have depression or something along those lines, but there are people that don't have it, and it's just how they feel, because again, we are in a hopeless, unsuitable environment, and people are waking up finally. I don't want to sound like cuckoo conspiracy theorists with that sort of language, but I genuinely do think people are slowly waking up, seeing how they're being manipulated by the system and how the world is being changed into one that's just not habitable for humans, maybe even animals, to be honest. But so again, 100% agree with that post, and it does somehow sum up how I feel as well, especially as I've said, because I don't want to and I'm not going to have a family. It's kind of like, what's next? What can I actually have hope for? What is guaranteed? What can I look forward to? I'm gonna stop this video here. I don't want to be too pessimistic, but I want to be real. Like, I don't do toxic positivity here, but I sometimes just need to get this out my system. And let me know in the comments, like, do you feel the same? Have you been experiencing similar feelings about the world? Or on the contrary, is it great and you're living life and you're happy? I'd love to hear all points of views. They do say a problem shared is a problem halved, so I really like to have genuine discussions on here with you. And I also just want to quickly mention some resources that have helped me even just a little bit while I'm going through this. One is a book by Trisha Hersey, I hope I'm saying your name correctly, that Rest is Resistance. I've read it a couple times. I think I do need to reread it again while I'm in this mindset, but it really helps challenge our views on rest and looking after ourselves in this capitalist society. 100% recommend that. If you're not able to get the book, I will link. She did a podcast episode with For the Wild, which was absolutely incredible. So if you're not able to get hold of the book, listen to that. I also find free things like yoga, so even just doing a bit of yoga on YouTube or different yoga apps does help. You don't need a fancy setup, even if you don't have a mat. Sometimes I just do it on my carpet. And yoga isn't about being peaceful and having no thoughts and feelings. You're actually encouraged in real yoga, not commercialized yoga, to bring your anger and angst or sadness or tears to the mat. So some days when I'm just completely overwhelmed, I will bring those feelings to the mat, let them out and take it out on the mat. And then when I get off, I do feel a weight lifted off of my shoulders for sure. Also grounding. And if you don't have access to grass or outdoor spaces, you could do this inside as well. But sometimes just grounding, putting my bare feet on the ground, breathing, sighing, and just releasing all my problems into the earth, I feel can really help. Even if temporarily, it's a very free and accessible thing you can do. But as always, thank you so much for watching. Any likes, comments, and subscribes are much appreciated. And I hope you have a better day.